Hello everyone, my name is Maggie, and today I'm going to be talking about fraternities and sororities and my perspective on recent case studies and the negative stigma around Greek social life. So I do want to start off with talking about a case study in which a student from Penn State University had passed away due to a hazing-related incident. So to give you a little bit of a background, Tim Piazza went to a frat party that he was pledging for, and it was Beta Theta Pi, and he had been consuming a lot of alcohol. He drank 18 drinks within a span of less than 2 hours, and he ended up being so drunk that he fell off the stairs 15 feet onto the basement of the frat house. And what's interesting to this story is that the members didn't call for help or call for emergency services until 12 hours had passed since the incident. And I think this is just a reminder that Greek social life and fraternities and sororities have a lot of autonomy, and these chapters are actually affiliated with the university, so the university is responsible for what happens to the students within these organizations. And Tim's case is not the first to happen. There are 70 students who have passed away due to a hazing-related incident since the year 2000. And I think it's actually time for higher ed institutions to recognize that this Greek social life is a major problem, and although it does have, members do get a lot of benefits of joining Greek social life, fraternities and sororities, I think it's important to note that there are a lot of negative stigmas surrounding Greek social life, and they are based off factual evidence, and schools need to begin to consider the value of Greek social life on their own campuses. So although there is a lot of negative stigma surrounding fraternities and sororities, I think it's important to note that they weren't always viewed in this light, and there are so many benefits that students now can receive from joining a fraternity or sorority. So to give you a rough history of why fraternities and sororities even came together or were created, back then people got into groups and they would spark intellectual debates, share their morals and values, and it was very common for people in these organizations to share very similar thought processes. And over time it became an opportunity for students to get together and meet new friends, meet new people, learn professional skills as well as academic skills, and it was just really beneficial for students and for the university. And for a while, and even to this day, some universities actually use fraternities and sororities as a marketing approach to enticing future or potential students to attend and apply for their universities. So originally, fraternities were created in order to engage in educational debates and discussions, and they got together to prepare themselves for careers that their professors didn't necessarily train them in within the classroom, and to discuss topics that weren't discussed in class. So given that there are actually a lot of these benefits, I think there is still a lot of students who look forward to joining a fraternity or sorority in college, and my recommendation is definitely not to completely wipe off fraternities and sororities from Greek life. And America is the only educational system that has fraternities and sororities, but I think it's time that we change and evolve this negative stigma surrounding and plaguing Greek social life. So one thing that I definitely recommend is that that colleges and universities admit that they know that there are hazing related incidents happening around their campuses all the time. And I think admitting and being aware of it is the first step to actually trying to create policies and revisions that will actually support the students and prevent future mishaps from occurring. So it should never be the case that, something bad happens to one of their students for the university to finally step in. All universities that have Greek social life should have contingency plans and methods to prevent students from getting harmed due to Greek social life. And after Tim Piazza, after he passed away, there were actually 28 members of the fraternity that was charged with involuntary manslaughter because of the hazing of the student that passed away at Penn State University. So Penn State actually did a really, really great job at preventing these things from happening again to their students. So one being is that they actually set up a method for students to anonymously report any cases of hazing that they may know about, and this provides colleges the accountability of their students, and it allows them to step in sooner better than later and hold people responsible for that. So in this last section of the video, I just want to thank everyone for listening to my presentation, and if my research ever ends up being used, I hope that students who are in fraternities and sororities that learn about my research and hear about these issues, I hope that they can share this knowledge with their own organizations and create change from the inside out. I think that besides policymakers and university officials to create new and implement changes, I think it's important to start with fraternities and sororities. I think they should lead as a good example for all students, and it may be time for them to change some of the traditions that are not necessarily acceptable anymore according to today's society.